Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
So it seemed like that whole song revolved around this one interval that you kept playing. So what interval was that?
Wow, great ear. Okay, so the really interesting about this particular ballade is most of Chopin's ballades have this really gorgeous melody to it. This one is not the case. Instead, the entire theme is almost this interval of a second. And the first time we hear it is really in the intro. It starts out with playing a scale. And then this is the part that he ends up building the entire piece off of. So it's really just this major second, and he ends up putting it everywhere throughout the entire composition. It's in the bass line, it's in the melody, and it's really just, I don't even know how he did it. It's really incredible, but wonderful ear for catching it. Now, for me personally, if nobody else has any questions, yes?
Any of these composers produced music that was good for dancing in their day?
Okay, so this was based off of a dance, and Chopin wrote plenty of waltzes, and even has mazurkas, which was basically a special Polish dance that they had. So basically, even in the Baroque period, all the pieces were kind of built off of these dance suites in it. So this particular piece, if you will, is not meant to dance with, right? You wouldn't go to a ball for it, but instead it's supposed to have that feel. It's supposed to be reenacting it. It's almost like we're creating these images or maybe a story in our head with this dance type feel. I almost think of that entire section as like a ballroom, this part. I think of that really as like going to a ball or something. I can't picture anything else. And that's really the next thing that I wanted to ask you guys. See, I haven't been able to really wrap my head around this one. There's so much going on in regards to a story. So I thought it would be a great idea if anybody was willing to share some images that came to mind, anything at all, while I was playing this piece. Nothing? Yes, wait for the microphone, please.
I kept seeing everything in major and in minor. It was like I saw the shadows, and I saw heaven and hell. Really, two different contrasts of that.
Yeah, I think that's what really makes this particular piece hard to wrap my head around. It kind of goes through these modulations of being kind of happy and then sad. And really where I kind of was starting to go with it was almost the character kind of having conversations with himself. Almost like there was something really great happening in their life that they were looking for. And then there's that voice in the back of their head that's just going like, no, like really trying to tell them all the bad things. So that's kind of where I was going with it. But did anybody hear that like carnival, that like circus at the end of it? What is that? So I'm not done figuring out what the story of the narrative is really for this one. Anybody else have any pictures? Yes?
Since I'm sitting the world without princesses, so Cinderella.
Cinderella.
She's dancing at the wall with a beautiful prince, but in the back of her mind, like you said, time is ticking, she has to leave, right, Chickadee?
That's really good. Wonderful, thank you. Anybody else?
Can you imagine how much more beautiful music he would have had he lived another 30 years? Because he died like in his 30s.
Yeah, Chopin had a very, very short life. And actually, the other really interesting thing about Chopin is he really only ended up doing, I think, around 30 performances in his entire life. He was really just a composer. People like Rachmaninoff, the first one that I played, he was really well known as being a fantastic pianist. And he had a huge hand, so any repertoire was totally in his wheelhouse for sure. But Chopin was really just a composer. He really wrote some fantastic piano music. Anybody else? Wait 1 second.
The dance that they had, he was about 31 years old when he passed away. This was his 47th piece. So he composed
So he only did 30 performances. He was not much of a performer himself. He would only do like one recital a year, pretty much. He really didn't do it, but he composed a bunch of music. He wrote 4 ballades. He has a couple of piano sonatas. He has a piano concerto. And then he has all his nocturnes, all his preludes, all his etudes. So he really wrote a lot of music in that short span. Okay, thank you. You bet. Any other questions?
Do you like playing Beethoven?
Come again.
Do you like playing Beethoven?